and dictate what they're going to do with their own resources in their country. And Iran is not going for it, right? And because of this war is actually exposing this man, right? It's exposing this man, the man of perdition, the man of destruction. It's exposing him because he's causing world destruction. Although this is a part of the elite banking families uh program, their agenda, because all wars are funded by the elite banking families. So this is and these people, these leaders of these countries are just pawns on the chess table for the elite banking family. They move them how they want them to move. And the Heavenly Father is really using these elite banking families as pawns as well, because he's moving them how he wants to move them so that they fulfill prophecy. Like his words will always be fulfilled. And brother, they in their minds having this wicked agenda, thinking that they're going to be successful, and it, truly they're just playing into the hands of the Heavenly Father anyway. Right? So we can't forget it's not all like Esau Edom has all control, like he's a power, like he's a god or something on this earth. Even though he sets himself up to be that way, you know. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is Second Thess. Oh, let me get this King James. This is Second Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, right? And it says, and that man of sin be revealed, which is Esau Edom, the so called white man, the son of perdition, the son of destruction. Perdition meaning destruction, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called power or God, or that is worship. Now, these elite banking families are believe that they're playing God because they are controlling these wars and they're behind the scenes, and they almost get like a kick out of causing all this catastrophe amongst the world, and people wondering like what is going on. But they're the people who's moving all of this, but the Heavenly Father is moving them. So that, you know, it's truly is remarkable how proud they can be, even knowing that he exists, because they got to know that he exists. If they worship the spiritual demon Satan, then obviously they got to worship the person who created them. Come on, not worship him. Obviously, they got to know that the person that created him exists, right? So, you know, it all comes down once you just do a little bit of critical thinking, you know. But anyway, it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know that withholdeth that he might be revealed in this time, and he is being revealed in this time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, and his mystery is starting to be revealed, like how all of his and the elite banking family's mystery is starting to be revealed, because more and more people are starting to understand that there's a globalist plan of a new world order that's coming into play, right? And it says, only he who know now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh Shai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And that's what the prophets, right? And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which is when he comes in with the thousands of angels with the laser beams and destroy this place. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, because his workings is after the spiritual demon Satan. The elite banking families tap in on the left-hand side, right? They're tapped in the left-hand side, sacrificing to the spiritual demon Satan, right? And they're sacrificing to these gods and stuff, and they're getting benefits and all of this. That's why you call all of this Epstein shenanigans, and all that. That's why people were saying that the Epstein files, they were sacrificing children and drinking the blood and eating them, and cannibalism and all that, right? This is why that was happening, because these people work on the left hand side in order to get benefits, right? And I got quotations when I'm saying that, because these are not actual benefits, right? If you are spiritual, you know that these aren't benefits, especially when the so-called benefits that they're getting are destroying the very land or earth that they're staying on. So it's like they're actually things that's destroying them, but hey, it is what it is. The wicked thinks wickedly, so you can't change that. But anyway, it says, verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? And this is how Esau gets all his agenda off, is by all of these lying wonders, which we're watching in this video. Him talking about, I just caught him in a lie speaking about the uranium, and he was just swearing up and down that Iran didn't have a oh no, he was saying, I just caught him saying that they had a nuclear program, and they were swearing up and down that Iran don't got nuclear weapons.
Obama made, giving cash to the station that he last chance for the Iranians. The president very clear in our conversation that he is not making the same mistake that President Obama made, giving cash to the Iranians and allowing them to continue a nuclear program. The deal on the table is
right, allowing them to continue a nuclear program. When Obama was in office, that was back in 2008 on down, right. So these people, so they basically saying, and we know they didn't have weapons before that, but they basically saying that Iran had weapons all the way back then, almost 20 years ago, right?
is
So,
to
the
reopen the
lies.
Strait of Hormuz to ensure that the Iranians do not have this highly enriched uranium that is buried deep underground after
And you hear this, like, how can you do that if it's buried deep underground? But,
Operation Midnight Hammer last summer. And again, the president telling Fox News that the entire country will be blown up. Bridges and power plants will be targeted if the Iranians do not sign this agreement. This is a significant development because
But if he does this, then he's jump starting Russia to get involved. He's jump starting China to get involved. And then once we see that happen, then all we're waiting for is the fullness of Jacob's trouble, which we are already waiting for now. It's the fullness of Jacob's trouble and the MOTB to come about. And that's when Yahweh Shai will come back.
we are in this less than 72-hour window before the ceasefire between the United States and Iran expires. And the president has given the Iranians an opportunity for an off-ramp, an olive branch he is extending to the Iranian regime to avoid this region going back into war.
This is hilarious. The way that they're speaking about it, he's extending them an invitation so that this thing doesn't blow out of proportion and all of that. It's like, what are you talking about, man? They're gonna destroy the economy of all the worlds. You can't do nothing about this. You don't think they know how you move by now? You have a track record of blowing things up in people's countries. You don't think these people who are very well intertwined with mountain dwelling and underground and all of these different things that they're good at doing over in this country, you don't think that they have foreseen this? Didn't the one of the elite of Iran come out and say that we've been waiting for this for over 20 years? We planned this for over 20 years. He told them to come on with it. So what are you talking about? Like, he's DJT is acting as if we're not watching the same movie play out.
And the president said the United States military is prepared. He said the U.S. has massive amounts of ammunition, even better munitions than they had in the
So
opening.
now he's about to take out more debt in order to to keep going with this war. Not even mention that Russia and Ukraine are still at war amongst each other, and DJT is still paying for that. Did y'all forget about this proxy war between them? Boy, they about to collapse America, just like in Rome, right? Let me see how much time I got. Just like in Rome, right? Ooh. Roman fall due to military fund instability, right? And this is what I put into this, right? It says the fall of the Roman Empire was a complex process influenced by various factors, including military instability. And this is one of the points this is how you know that we're in an extension of the Roman Empire, right? It says the Roman military, once a cornerstone of the empire, faced challenges such as a decline in the quality and quantity of soldiers. That's what I just said earlier in the video about moles and women being put into the military. That's lowering the quality of the soldier. Geographical vulnerabilities. Look, they just came out saying that those soldiers and that's over there at the Straits of Hormuz are starting to go into a famine on those ships. They're starting to have to be rationed food on those ships because they can't get to their destinations and stuff, or they're not allowed to get to their destinations. So the people on those ships, those soldiers, are starting to, you know, they're going to be weak when it's time for battle because they're in the location that they're in. It's not like they can just go over and go into any of these Middle Eastern countries and stuff, especially when they're the ones who's being an antagonist to these countries and stuff. They'll get killed walking into those countries trying to seek food and sustainability, sustenance, right? Let me keep going, y'all. So, and then it says, and the lack of competent political leaders. This is DJT all the way. This man, he lacks in competency. He's just he's just doing whatever it seems to be. But that's what the elite banking family plans are. They want him to be a scapegoat for the wars that they're introducing, right? Just so they can introduce this MOTB ultimately. It says these issues contributed to the empire inability to maintain control over its vast domains. Yep. And respond effectively to it internal and external threats. Now, internally, right, we have seen some uh terrorist actions, right? But we haven't seen it in its fullness. And I guess they can consider, or they can turn these warehouse fires that's been happening. It's been major fires happening to all these warehouses, right? They could try to turn this and flip this and make this be that. But truly, I think this is uh, an internal, what do you call it? Smoke and mirror type of action, like where they're actually doing the burning themselves. Like they're actually burning these, like the CIA and stuff. They're going and they're hiring people to go and burn these buildings themselves, so that when Jacob's Trouble fully go out, people will they'll get into a dire strait type of situation because and they'll be more willing to take that MOTB because when those warehouses that they're burning, and and it's been happening synchronically, like, or how do you say it? It's been happening at a pace where you if you wasn't paying attention, you wouldn't notice it, right? Like, and it's been happening for the last, I would say, 2 years or so, where it was the water got polluted. The Mississippi River got, I don't know if y'all remember that, but the Mississippi River got polluted by a company that had Forever Chemicals that was released into it, right? So That's something right there. So they're already polluting your water. You're not even paying attention.